Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be. Hi, here I am. As you can see, I'm in my main office today, delivering 2 sets of training today. So it felt appropriate to be in my office. We've just had a pretty big downpour, and apparently we've got thunderstorms this afternoon. So we're into our April showers, even though it's May. But hey ho, can't win them all. So how am I? Where am I today? Well, after last week's little episode of talking about whether to collaborate with somebody who had behaved in what for me was an inappropriate way, in that they used some of my words without crediting me, I've decided, and you won't be surprised, not to collaborate with them. And I think that's an important thing to do. So I've not collaborated. I have created a podcast episode sort of about it, because what it made me realize is that I talk a lot about boundaries, and it helped me understand that I have another boundary. I probably always had it, but I've named it now. I can kind of put my hands around it and kind of feel it, really, which is I've got an ethical boundary which I'm not prepared to be crossed. And we look at some of the boundaries that we have around our feelings, around our thoughts, around our spirituality, around all sorts of things. But I hadn't actually named my ethical boundary until that episode. So that episode helped me to create a podcast episode, which will be going live on Wednesday overnight into Thursday, around refining my boundary process, to make sure that what I'm also talking about and including are my ethical boundaries. So that in itself has been really helpful. And in terms of how I'm dealing with the situation, thanks for joining me. I can see a couple of people here. Thanks for joining me. And in terms of the situation, I was asked whether I was going to send a cease and desist letter. And I've decided that at this point, no, I'm not going to. But I have removed myself from connections with them. So if they do carry on using my words, I won't see it. I won't be triggered by it. I did ponder today, actually, whether that was just avoiding the issue. And good morning, Carrie. A little cool at 47 degrees, but sunny and should be a warm day. Nice. As opposed to the rain and thunderstorms here. But I decided actually that it wasn't necessarily a cowardly thing to do, or I wasn't avoiding the situation. What I was doing was choosing my battles, and I've decided that battle for me isn't worth fighting right now. So I won't be sending a cease and desist letter. If I do see anything else, or if anything else is brought to my attention, I may choose to take action. But I'm actually, people will know my words. People will know my voice. People will know what's mine and what's not mine. And I'm a great believer also in karma. So, something will impact their growth, their trajectory. And, I don't necessarily need to worry myself with that, because I've got so much else on. I've got, as you know, my weekly podcast. I've now got my weekly show, which I'm really getting quite into. If you haven't managed to join me yet, do think about popping along it's currently 8 p.m. London time on a Thursday evening. And I am debating whether to move it an hour forward. So I'd be interested to hear from you about whether 7 p.m. UK time is a better or worse time. I don't want to go to 9 o'clock. I'm not an evening girl to that extent. So, Carrie, sorry, let me just share this. Perfect way to look at it. Don't waste energy on conflict or worry. Exactly. It takes too much of my time to invest in things that actually, in the big scheme of things, it's not the end of the world. it's not going to be terminal for anyone. And that's all I need to worry about. So as I say, I've got my podcast that launches on a Thursday. I've got my show that launches on a Thursday. And the two are starting to align quite nicely now, which I'm loving too. And if you haven't had a chance to pop in and view anything yet, then go along to Win Win Women and find my show on a Thursday night. And I will pop a link somewhere in the chat here so that you can pick it up, whether you're watching live now or whether you are commenting later on. And of course, if you're watching on catch up, hashtag replay and let me know what your thoughts or comments are about, should I change the time on a Thursday? There's a couple of reasons for doing it and there's a couple of reasons against. And as yet, I'm undecided. And a bit of me thinks it kind of doesn't really matter. So, yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. So you may notice that I've got different podcast audiograms starting to come out with different photos. They're some of the new photos that I had done recently by the fabulous Brigitta, and I'm so chuffed with some of those photos. They make me laugh. So I can't remember if I told you or not, but one of the things I wanted her to do was take lots of photographs of me expressing different emotions so that I could use them sometimes for Facebook ads, etc. And some of them are hysterical. In fact, I might share one of them here. It just makes me laugh. And it's taken me I can't tell you how long it's taken me to get to the point where I can laugh at my own photos. I can laugh at my silliness without thinking, oh, you look awful. It's like, no, I'm just who I am, and that's absolutely fine. So I'll be sharing more of those photos with you over the next few weeks. You'll start to see them pop up in different places. As I say, I'm specifically using them at the moment for my podcast audiograms. So you'll see those in the group, on my personal page, on LinkedIn, if you follow me on LinkedIn. And if you haven't connected with me yet on LinkedIn, why not? Make sure you connect with me on LinkedIn, and that'll be good. And I'm working up to inviting my first guest onto my Win Win Women show, my Flourishing Introvert show. So they'll be live with me either this week coming or the next week, whichever it is. I'm so looking forward to that. Anyway, not much lurking this week, partly because I've had some really important accountability time and downtime. So I spent Friday with 2 accountability buddies and planning out where I'm taking the Flourishing Introvert business. I'm thrilled with that. And also on Saturday, we spent the day at Leeds Castle, and I posted some photos from that on my personal page. And it was just such a gorgeous day. The weather was lovely. We were able to sit in the sun. We were able to sit on the grass, albeit slightly damp in the afternoon, gazing across at the castle as we were just finishing our nattering. And it was just the most perfect day. And then Sunday, I had a relatively quiet day too. So 3 days like that has meant that I haven't needed to lurk for my own kind of battery reasons. The only places I might lurk, and no chance today, no chance tomorrow. I'm delivering full on today, delivering full on tomorrow. I might have a chance to be a bit quiet, not necessarily lurk, but be a bit quiet on Thursday before my show. And then Friday, I've got lunch with somebody very special to celebrate a big birthday. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that begins another amazing weekend. So, wow, don't these weeks go fast? That's all I'm going to say. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening to the kind of outcome of that, the end of that story in terms of what I chose to do with the person who used my words without credit. And I look forward to chatting with you next week. So see you next week, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.